All right, what's up guys? I'm here in Central Rock Gym, Cambridge. This is gonna be the episode you want. We're trying on shoes. You guys are gonna learn how to fit shoes properly. We're gonna go from entry-level shoes to even a little bit more advanced shoes. So we have Patrick, here's Hans, and Ben. And of course you guys know Enzo. So as I've been climbing a little bit more, what I've noticed is that like the tips of my shoes are starting to go. Can you see that? Let's just get started. So I have a pair of entry-level shoes. Do I need another like second pair of entry-level? I don't know even where to start, what I'm looking for.
I always like to start people off with a selection of entry-level shoes. They're comfortable. They're designed to be worn for about an hour at a time at a minimum. They have a relatively flat shape to them. It's a very versatile shape. So if you're still doing a wide variety of things, shoes like this are still great.
Is the rubber the same on the bottom? I've heard people talk about like different types of rubber, and I'm like, I don't even know where to start. Is that something I should even be thinking about right now?
What most people are feeling when they feel differences in rubber are actually differences in the stiffness of the shoe and the midsole and the temperature and the rock quality and how worn the shoe is. And so direct A to B comparisons between rubber durometer, rubber hardness, and rubber stickiness are actually very difficult to tease apart. People get a little bit too focused on that. For entry-level shoes, it doesn't make as much of a difference.
All right, so we got some Evolv Defys. So these are entry-level Evolv shoes right here. What do I need to be thinking about in terms of fit?
The way that I fit a shoe that is an entry-level shoe or someone's first shoe, you want to expect the shoe to fit tight and firm handshake tight.
I feel like Cinderella. These feel really nice. Oh my gosh, these feel like really good.
I want to make sure that there's no gaps, there's no dead space, that this feels tight, but not crazy high pressure or anything like that. And I can feel your toes knuckling up a little. This type of knuckling is fine.
Would this stretch at all? Yeah.
Breaking in is a very good question. Now these are synthetic shoes, and these are a fully lined synthetic shoe. And those two things together mitigate stretch pretty significantly.
I'm gonna try these out on the wall. What should I be looking for when I'm climbing, like testing out a new pair of shoes?
What I suggest people do, I have them go to a dead vertical wall, and I have them go to an overhanging wall, because you want to see how it works in two different types of terrain. Yeah. And you want to try it on both small, really edging-oriented crimpy holds, as well as low friction, smeary, polished, slopery. Then you basically want to test pure limits of toeing in and then friction. And then you want to try inside edge and outside edge. And you also want to make sure you test the heel hooking. So basically when we talk about the next level up, not everybody needs a more downturn shoe. Basically this hooking action prevents your foot from pulling back out of holds when it's overhanging like this, and it basically allows you to climb with more efficiency. If what you're looking to do is to have less effort standing on really small holds, you don't necessarily need a downturn shoe. What a shoe like this does is it gives you a little bit of a stiffer midsole platform. This shoe allows you to stand on very small edges in that dead vertical to slightly off vertical terrain.
All right, so Enzo has some Kronos, kind of like the next level up shoe. Again, you have to take into account like what kind of shoe it is for what you want. Enzo's gonna demonstrate like climbing in those shoes, and we're gonna go over what he's noticing.
I felt like I could run up the wall.
You're not just saying that for the camera?
No. I took these outside too, and they were perfect.
How long should I expect a new pair of climbing shoes to last?
A reasonable lifespan for a pair of shoes can be anywhere from 3 months to over a year. It really depends on how frequently you're climbing. So the next shoes that we're going to talk about are downturn high performance shoes, more specifically for overhanging climbs. A shoe like this is not useful on long slab roofs. So when people say like, what's your best shoe? I always want to say like, well, for what? By basically being very soft through the back part of the shoe and allowing you to articulate your foot downwards, but being very stiff through the front part. Inside of here, this midsole piece, there's little cutouts right here, and that's where your toes wrap around. Allow that midsole to have extra flexibility.
So now it's time to start climbing with the pros. So we got Evolv athletes Ben and Patrick here. They have the downturn shoes that we were just talking about. These are the Shamans. They're just a different color. Those are highlighting their specials.
I'm wearing the Agros.
I had the original Shawmans for my first pair of climbing shoes ever.
So these are pretty downturn, pretty high performance.
And then I upgraded to these probably about a year and a half ago.
I got my Agros about a year ago.
And I've had 2 pairs of these.
I'm on my second pair now.
See, he goes through them quickly. Alright guys, so we forgot one last thing, how to fit shoes properly for downturn shoes. Hans mentioned to me like what you want to be looking for is that you want your toes to be curled, and you see how there's that little divot? You want your toes to be curled in this little nook here. So you test that your toes can't curl anymore, right? So when you curl your toes inside of there, that your toes can't come out of that little nook. You want them to be super tight and snug so that when you curl your toes, this toe box curls with them. With downturn shoes, he was mentioning that you want to be able to wear them for no more than like 1 pitch if you're climbing outdoors. If after 2 minutes you're like, these are so painfully tight, you probably got too tight of shoes on. If you're bouldering, however, though, it's not uncommon that you size them so that you're wearing them for 10 minutes and then you're popping them right off and then you're popping them back on when you got to get back on the climb. And Hans even mentioned that some people have the same pair of shoes in different sizes for when they're climbing outdoors on pitches and when they're climbing on the boulders. So last point is we're going to talk about shoe maintenance.
The most basic thing that you need to do is when you're done wearing your shoes, clip a carabiner to them and hang them on the outside of your backpack. Don't take wet, stinky, sweaty climbing shoes, stuff them down at the bottom of a duffel bag or a backpack, and then stick them in a hot car, because then you're going to just create a science experiment. If you do decide that you want to wash your shoes, the little secret is you just put them in the washing machine. There's no magic to taking care of your rock shoes at all. No bleach, and don't put them through the dryer. Other than that, that's all you need to do to take care of your rock shoes.
Hans, thank you so much for going over all of this with us. I'm really grateful for Evolv coming out, Central Rock Gym, Cambridge. But remember, all of this advice is not a substitute for trying on shoes. You still have to try them on, see how they feel, see how they fit, and every shoe is gonna be like a little bit different for each person's foot. Big shout out and thanks to these guys, Patrick and Ben. Catch ya later.